I would like to bring this regular meeting of the Corporation of Town of Lincoln for June the 4th to order and ask that everyone stand for the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. And the orchestra this evening for O Canada was from the Beamsville District Secondary School Music Department. So thank you very much to the Bucks. Roll call this evening. To my right is Councillor Rob Foster, and to his right, Deputy Mayor Dave Thompson, Councillor Lynn Timmers, and Councillor Tony Brunet. To my far left, Councillor Paul McPherson, Councillor Diane Regima, Councillor John Pachariva, Councillor Wayne McMillan. To my right is Julie Kirkelos, the Acting Director of Corporate Services and Clerk. And to my left, and for her very first time in this seat, we have Shannon McKay, who's the Acting Director of Community Services, but in the absence of the CAO, she is the acting CAO. So welcome, Shannon. And the staff present this evening are Angela Safani, the Director of Finance and Administration, and Kathleen Dale, the Director of Planning and Development. I guess I should say then that we do have regrets from Michael Kirkopoulos, the CAO, just to make that official, although he is on vacation and good for him. Declarations of interest. Councillor Njima.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Regarding item 15B on the agenda, bylaw 2018-45, I'm declaring a pecuniary interest as the applicant in that particular bylaw is an employee or a client of my employer, Niagara Planning Group. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. And I have the paperwork and Madam Clerk. Thank you. Do any member have any changes to the order of business detailed in the agenda? There being none, we'll move forward to the adoption of previous council minutes, and that would be the minutes of council's regular meeting of May 22nd, 2018. I have a motion. Moved by Councillor Foster and seconded by Councillor Thompson that the minutes of the May 22nd, 2018 regular meeting of council be adopted. Are there any errors or omissions? Your pleasure on the motion. The motion is carried. Are there any items of business from the minutes of May 22nd? There being none, we move on to the mayor's report. And I'll be very brief this evening, albeit I think that the message this evening is extremely important. You will recall, ladies and gentlemen, at times over the past months and possibly over the last 18 months, that the community represented by citizens had input into a value statement for the town of Lincoln, that being to grow, to prosper, and to belong. the emphasis being on diversity and inclusion. And further to that, just a few weeks ago, the council and staff spent additional time learning how to practice those values. And you see us doing that on a regular basis through our economic development plan in relationship to a prospering community, to the planning for public streets and improvements in our neighborhoods relating to the growth plan for the future, and the importance of understanding those who follow a path different from ourselves, but who have an important voice in the development of our community. And this is the piece of belonging that is very important. So today, the main message is inclusiveness, acceptance, and celebration. And earlier today, some of the staff met at the flag, at our courtesy flagpole, to recognize the LBGT community in Lincoln, their family and supporters, for a week of celebration. And I remind you again that you live in Lincoln, where we strive, where everyone strives to be good neighbors, where children are encouraged to achieve their very best. It is the way we do it here in Lincoln. Thank you. There is no regional councilors report this evening. There are no delegations, and there is no correspondence of note brought forward this evening. Now I'll move on to the Finance and Administration Committee minutes of May 28th, 2018. But before I do that, the clerk has pointed out I need to go back up to council reports, and I'll ask if any members of council have items to report. And I see Councillor Thompson, and I see Councillor Foster. Please go ahead, Councillor Thompson.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to highlight a couple of events that I attended on your behalf. First of all, on May 7th, I attended the 49th annual inspection of 1626 Royal Canadian Army Cadet Corps. It was really great to see all the youth out showing their dedication, respect, and the hard work that comes with being part of that cadet corps, and certainly no less all the community service that they do. So it was really excellent to see that. And then on May 31st, I got to go have breakfast, as I did last year with the Niagara Nutrition Partners, and it was fantastic. It was a very well-attended event. In fact, it was sold out. Anna Olson from the Food Network was the MC for the morning, and we got to sample 6 or 7 different breakfasts from the different high school programs bringing forward their little breakfast snippets. So, and a shout out to the Beamsville High School, who provided us with some really tasty breakfast as well. The Niagara Nutrition Partnership provides 17,000 children with breakfast, lunch, snacks across the Niagara region every day. So I was really pleased to be asked to go to that event. So it was very well attended and well supported, because that's one of their major fundraisers. So thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you very much, Councillor, and thank you for representing the town on both of those occasions. Councillor Foster.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Easton. And I didn't, I suppose, really attend this on behalf of the town, but within our town, we were very fortunate to have an all-candidates meeting for the provincial election back just over a week ago. I have to say 2 things about it. Number one, just all of the candidates were superb. I believe no matter who is elected out of this, I think we're going to do well as an MPP. It was very interesting seeing quote-unquote youth as opposed to sometimes a little bit older, jaded, quote-unquote, that we sometimes see in the political sphere. But the other shout out with that was to Councillor McPherson, who did an absolutely superb job that evening as being the moderator. To be quite honest, it's one of the best moderated all candidates we've had here in town. So well done, Paul. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Foster. And also Councillor McPherson, and you get to speak next.
Well, thank you very much for that, and I would absolutely agree with Councillor Foster that I think we're in good hands. It was certainly a youthful group and a very knowledgeable and intelligent group too. I would say that the candidates were clear on their platforms, and we had a little part of the evening that they got to ask each other questions, which was interesting. And they never gave the moderator any trouble, which was another good thing that night, so it all ran smoothly. I also have a couple of other announcements or councillor reports. The MPCA board meeting I attended last week. Couple of key things coming out of that meeting. The report on the financials ending December 31st, 2017 was presented by KPMG, and all financials are in good shape for the MPCA. And the other key report that came out during that meeting was the 2017 to 22 strategic plan recommendation report. This has been probably about 3 months in the making, and lots of public engagement. The team at the MPCA has gone out to 4 locations around the MPCA catch basin, and also had a survey that had, I believe, somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,600 or 2,900 responses. So they've really done a nice job of reaching out to the community and asking what should the focus of the MPCA be over the next 4 years. So we expect that that's going to come back to our June meeting, and that we're going to be able to then produce that strategic plan for the public. So that was about it for me. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Councillor Njima and Councillor Pachariba.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I was at the all candidates meeting too, and a couple of other councillors here. I know Councillor Brunei was there, and I believe Councillor Pachariba was there. So it was, a great, really a question and answer session. And I wanted to say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for putting that on. I was also the other night at the Heritage Registry open house that was put on by staff. And thank you to staff for putting that on. Thank you for the volunteer committee, and thank you to Councillors McMillan and Councillor Timmers for their attendance there. It was quite well attended. There was a lot of, I was only able to stay for the first half hour, but there were a lot of concerns. But what I hear in the end, that it worked out and people had their questions answered nicely. And so thank you to everybody, and kudos. It's a path that we decided to take at the very beginning of this term, that we were going to have a good look at heritage and conservation, and we're moving forward with it. And the Mayor's Golf Tournament was very well attended, actually sold out and then some. It was very well organized. The weather was heavenly. We don't have any numbers yet, but when they do come in, that'll be for you, Madam Mayor, to announce. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. It was a great day, and I also want to express my thanks to the Chamber. These are major commitments when they decide to take something on like this, on behalf of the Mayor's office, and also the charities that the Mayor of the Day selects. And for me, for the last 4 years, it has been 3 groups in town that support youth literacy, children's literacy, youth literacy, and also the literacy of adults. And it's not just reading and writing, it's also the completion of high school diplomas, and it's also literacy when it comes to computers, and a little bit of street savvy included in there. So thank you to them and to all the donors. Very, very generous, and it was lots of fun too. Councillor Pachariba.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. In addition to the events already mentioned, a couple, I attended on Saturday the Touch Truck event at the, which was outstanding. I was there for the first couple hours. I have never seen, and I thought I had seen it last year, but I have never seen so many strollers and pregnant ladies and kids. Like there was I hear over 1,000. Ms. McKay might be better able to. She was the one manning the grill with Mr. Deanny, but I mean there was a steady stream. Councillor Brunet and I and Connie, and I'm drawing a blank on her last name, Groves, were at the Active Transportation booth in the morning and, presenting our upcoming event on the 23rd of June, the community cycling event. And everyone was, was in a great mood. But I mean, how can you be in a bad mood if you can get up and beep the horn of some of those big vehicles we had there? And then in the afternoon, had the pleasure of bringing some out-of-town guests as part of my entourage, and we grazed the bench. So weather couldn't have been any more perfect, and they actually lucked out. The weatherman around here this weekend, probably had the average of a ball player. Was hitting 500 because he said it was supposed to rain all day Sunday, and it didn't. So kudos to that organization and the event they put on. It was really top-notch.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And Councillor Timmers.
Thank you, Mary. And I just wanted to add my comments about Touch a Truck. That is just the best event ever. And we received an email today from Director Dave Graham saying that there were over 1,000 people attended that event on Saturday. And as Councillor Pachariva said, they were happy campers. The lineups were huge. Everybody was happy. The kids were doing face painting, and the barbecue was a huge hit. Over $1,000 was raised for Autism Ontario, the Niagara chapter, which is just fabulous. And the farmers market was there for the kickoff, and I went home with a bag full of goodies. I think they're almost all gone already. And it was just great. And I just want to give a shout out to all the staff that helped put that together, because that's a huge undertaking to organize something like that. And it was just seamless. It was fabulous, and happy faces, and just a really great home feeling there, everyone coming together. So anyway, I had a great time there. I really enjoyed it. So thank you.
Sense of belonging. Councillor McPherson, did you want to say something more about the BIA market, since it was the first one of the season, just prompting you a bit?
Well, yes, enthusiastically, I did attend the first market with my dear wife, and came home with 2 bags full as well, and very pleased that we do have several vendors that are farmers this year. That was a key initiative over the winter to try to bring back some of the farmers that we had in the past, and they are back. And the venue, talked to a couple of people that were there, loved the venue, and we will be moving a little bit up into the parking lot next week. Just up by the library. So I would encourage all of our local residents to come down and visit us, because as they visit us and as they make purchases on Saturday morning, so the market grows. So very excited, and it's just a great group of vendors that are down there. They're very, very excited about the whole farmers market. So off to a good start.
Excellent.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
And it was certainly a very terrific feeling. It was just so delightful to see the families out on the street. And you knew that the market and the Touch a Truck event is really the kind of thing that people want. And people are saying they want more and more of this. They want more events in the town and more activities. And everyone was just having such a good time. So Councillor Brunet, now he's feeling left out. What would you like to tell us?
No, I just wanted to add to that comment you just made, because I do believe that we cannot underestimate this event, because a lot of times we think that it is our residents within our municipality, but I'll tell you, I talked to people there from Niagara Lake, I talked to people from Welland, from Port Colborne, I talked to a family of 7, and I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Sudbury." And I said, "What brings you here today?" He says, "My daughter has moved to Grimsby." And we heard there was a farmer's market, so we came to Beamsville to look up the farmer's market. But we went to Beam Street, and there was no market. So we started coming down towards the downtown, and we just followed the crowds and followed the signs, and he said, what an amazing event. And these people are from Northern Ontario looking at relocating into Southern Ontario, and I'm telling you right now, they're going to be looking at Lincoln. So we've created quite an event that is bringing people in here from the entire region of Niagara, not just the municipality of Lincoln. So kudos to the entire staff.
Great, thank you very much, Councillor. All right, now we'll move on to the Finance Administration Committee. And I'm in the right place, so I don't know whether it's not the hour of the day, it has to be these trifocals. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. Councillor Pachariga, would you care to provide highlights of the meeting of May 28th?
I most certainly will. Following our highlights regarding the minutes of the Finance and Administration Committee held last Monday, May 28, 2018, the committee received 2 staff reports, which were carried as follows. Report TR 18-12, the first quarter financial report, and the second one was TR 18-13, the 2017 Development Charge Reserve Fund Statement. Meeting wrapped up at 7:10 p.m. Full details regarding the meeting can be found in the agenda and minutes published on the town's website, lincoln.ca.
Any questions to the minutes, Councillor Foster?
What was it actually, Councillor Pachariva, that was chairing that meeting?
Well, I know he's going to be taking credit for having the shortest meeting of the term, I think. Anyone else? I have a motion moved by Councillor Thompson and seconded by Councillor Foster that the minutes of the May 28, 2018 Finance and Administration Committee be adopted as circulated. Your pleasure on the motion? The motion is carried. We have no confirmation of compliance with Section 34 of the Planning Act. We have 2 bylaws this evening. I have a motion moved by Councillor Timmers and seconded by Councillor Brunet that leave be given to introduce the following bylaws. Bylaw number 2018-44 to adopt 2018 tax rates, and bylaw 2018-45 to execute site plan agreement Phelps Homes Limited, Part Lot 18, Concession 4, Louth for residential development. Any questions? Your pleasure on the motion? The motion is carried. I have a motion moved by Councillor Brunet and seconded by Councillor Timmers that bylaws number 2018-44 and 2018-45 read a first time be now read a second and third time and finally passed, and that the mayor and clerk sign and seal the said bylaw. Your pleasure on the motion. The motion is carried. Are there any councillor inquiries? Are there any notices of motion? Are there any announcements? Councillor McPherson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a quick announcement. Tomorrow night at the Fleming Center, that's Tuesday evening from 6 to 8, the MPCA will be hosting a floodplain mapping meeting. And that is an important meeting for us. Lincoln is going to have an updated floodplain map done, and tomorrow night it will be an invitation to our residents to come out and learn what floodplain mapping is, how it is done, and also be looking for feedback from our residents tomorrow night. So that's 6 to 8 at the Fleming Center tomorrow night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to clarify that this announcement is also being made independently by the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. Councillor McPherson brings this message to us in his capacity as our representative on that committee and for no other reason. Would you not have a closed session this evening? My apologies, Councillor Petrie.
Quite all right, Your Worship. I just wanted to, and I alluded to it earlier, but just wanted to make note of our community cycling event taking place Saturday, June 23rd as part of Bike Month. We're going to have a pump track there. We're going to have some bike safety. Through a grant we received, we're going to be handing out bike lights to everyone that shows up. We're going to go on a little community ride, barbecue, and one of the cool things is partnering with the BIA is that you'll be able to cycle and get a smoothie. So be able to get fruit from the market and put some jazz together and make a smoothie. So we're looking forward to it. It's not just restricted to youth. It's anyone from 1 to 101 is able to do this. And we were showing the pump track that will be its first of its kind in Niagara. So there was a lot of excitement from it. So any form of wheeled transportation, we encourage you to come out. Rollerblades, razor scooter, bicycle, tricycle, bike with training wheels, and even wheelchairs. So come one, come all. It'll be a fantastic day.
It is, and thank you very much for mentioning that. I have to make my arrangements for a lighter bike. I hope everybody's going to, I'm sure if we go downtown, Nick can fix us up, you know, a bike for every age, right? We'll see. All right, thank you very much for that. That's a pretty important event coming up. All right, we do not have a closed session item this evening, and I have a bylaw confirming the proceedings of council. I have a motion moved by Councillor Njima, seconded by Councillor McPherson, that leave be given to introduce the following bylaw, number 2018-46, to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by council resolution. Pleasure on the motion. The motion is carried. I have a motion moved by Councillor McPherson and seconded by Councillor Petrie-Riva that bylaw number 2018-46 read a first time be now read a second and third time and finally passed, and that the mayor and clerk sign and seal the said bylaw. The pleasure on the motion. The motion is carried. Ladies and gentlemen, the agenda this evening has been very light. However, I would caution you to keep an eye on the town website to see what is coming up in the future. We have some pretty heavy-duty meetings coming up, particularly the planning meeting. Important issues to be discussed, as well as the infrastructure meeting that is next week. So I encourage you to have a look at those, because it is at the committees where the meat of the discussion takes place. Ladies and gentlemen, the business of council having been completed is published and circulated, and there being no further business, I declare this meeting of council adjourned.